Thank you. All right. We'll go back to the top of the slide for our friends at home. Hello, friends at home. They said hi back.
I didn't get the worksheet.
All right. And then number 4. What's going on here? All right, Ben. Oh, it's just the same color. Ben, did you label your points on here?
I did on my paper. I tried to do it on my paper.
I saw it on your paper. Did you have it on your paper?
I labeled like half of them.
Oh.
And like some of them were like the same point as like the prime.
Right. So what should we do there?
A/A prime.
Right. Yeah. So A is -1, -2. I'll do the red will be our pre-image. B is 1, 2, 3, 1. And then C is 0, -1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, there's our ABC. And then our new one, there's no rule that says like X, Y turns into whatever. There's no rule for Y equals -2. We just have to kind of figure it out, right? So you knew if a point is like B, 1, 2, 3 above, then B prime is going to be 3 below, right? After it's been reflected. So 1, 2, 3 below, we'll call it B prime. C was 2 under the line of reflection, so C prime is going to be 2 above the line of reflection. And A was right on it, so it's not going to move at all. So the red and the green. So yeah, you got it. You got it right. Be careful. Make sure you are what, Cole? Labeling your points. Okay? I won't even, well, as I mark it off, I'll just put Cole right on there. Okay? Put Cole.
Okay.
But Cole will not forget tomorrow on the quiz.
Nope, I will not.
Excellent. So we have our original pre-image and our image. Now, be able to also write the coordinates for both. Did I ask you for that? No, I just said graph. Graph the pre-image, graph the image. But it's a good habit, be able to write that A prime is also -1, -2. B prime is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, -1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And C prime was 0, 0. Questions on that? All right, let's start checking the top here. In green, up at the above, do you see how I underlined in the directions in green? I'm not going to ask it this way on the quiz form. I'm not going to wrap this up as 2 questions in 1. This was a review. This is 2 questions in 1. I'm going to ask these separately. All right? So I'll say, does this figure have line symmetry? If so, draw on the lines. And so there'll be a line that says yes or no. So guess what you're going to write on that line? It's either yes or no. And then there's going to be a picture where you draw on your line symmetry if you said yes. Separately, in purple, does the figure have rotational symmetry? Yes or no? If so, what is the degree of rotation? Now, let's discuss that. Do you agree that for line symmetry, the first one has line symmetry and I drew it in? That's the question. Can you fold it, like on a piece of paper, can you fold it and the points on either side of the fold line up? Yes. Does it have rotational symmetry? Do you guys all see that it does not? Can you agree? If you were to put a dot on one of these vertices and rotate it, it would not line up on itself until you get to the full 360 to rotation. Agree? And if it's 360, it doesn't count. Next one. Some people missed their eyeballs, kind of didn't let them see all of the lines of symmetry for this one. Do you guys see all the lines of symmetry on that one? And then rotational symmetry. Do you agree this red dot, when you rotate it, 1, 2, 3, 4, It would line up 5 times. Do you agree? If you rotate 360 degrees and it lines up 5 times, 360 divided by 5 is 72. So 72 is the angle of rotational symmetry. Now, if this were a quiz and you listed 72, 144, and you kept listing all the way up to 360, I would be fine with that. Okay. If that's what you thought it was asking, what is the degree of rotation? Like if you thought what are all the different degrees of rotation that matches it up, I would be fine with that. Next one does not have line symmetry. Did anyone think it did? Anyone think it did? Because watch what happens. If you think it had line symmetry and you drew a line like that and you folded it, do you see how this sharp little fin will get reflected and be facing this way over here? You see it? And that doesn't look like that, does it? So no line symmetry on that one. And then rotational symmetry. Yeah, if you take this point and rotate it, it would line up there, and then there, and 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 there. 10 times, so 360 divided by 10, 36 degrees. You guys good with that? Next one. Yes, it has line symmetry. No, it does not have rotational symmetry. Questions on that? All right, 6. All right, here we go. Do you guys have your guided notes out? Do you have the rules in front of you? Whether you have them on flashcards or just in your guided notes. I think I encourage you guys to make flashcards out of it. Should I? No? Yes? Some people are saying yes, some are not saying no. Which proves about half of you are listening to me and give them What you got there, Ella? Oh, what's in there? Candy? That's exciting. Does anybody want candy from?
That's just a good paper.
You a label?
Okay.
My wife tried a candy corn candle. We're disappointed. Mouse? James? Right? Our friends at home are going to be so confused. Now Ella doesn't feel guilty about getting a piece of candy. So I didn't see it. So I would put these on a note card or flashcards, whatever, to memorize these. Now, would I memorize ones I don't have to? Like, for example, I don't think you need to memorize x-axis reflection, do you? All right. Do you have to memorize x-axis reflection? Watch. Here's the x-axis. What if the point is at 5, 2? Now it's going to be at 5, negative 2. If I don't have to memorize something, I don't. Okay? So I'm not going to ask you, hey, what's the rule for x-axis reflection? But if you're a rule person and you're like, you know what, I want to memorize that, then x, y turns into same x, so xy turns into same x, negative y, right? Opposite y, opposite y. So negative 7, 3 turned into negative 7, negative 3. Good with that one? All right. Danny, what did you get for B? For y-axis reflection?
7.
So negative 7, 3 turned into 7, 3. I like it. Y-axis reflection. 7, 3. All right, what was the next one? Reflection over the line y equals x. Who has the rule written down for y equals x reflection? Eldon, what'd you get?
Y or xy turns into yx.
xy turns into yx. So negative 7, 3 turns into 3, negative 7. Agree? And I knew Cole was going to be critical of me, so I labeled all my points P prime. Okay, just to be sure. D. Y equals negative x reflection. Peyton, what's the rule? Say it again.
X, y equals changes to negative.
Negative y, negative x. I agree. So that when you think negative y, negative x, it was x, y. Take both of them, make them opposite, trading spaces. All right. So negative 7, 3, make them both opposite, swap spaces. This thing is glitchy. Negative 3, 7 is what I got. Next one. Oh, yeah, that was the last one. All right. So the next one. We got rotations. Rotations. When I say consider each of these questions to be separate from the others, all that means is here's the original point. Do one, and then start back with the original point, and then do it for letter B. Start back with the original point, do it for letter C, and so forth. So what's our 90-degree counterclockwise rotation rule, Cole?
Isn't it negative yx?
Let's check. Negative yx. So if we have 9, negative 5, we take negative 5, we make a opposite, and put it in the x position. And then move the 9 to the y position. I don't know any other way around this unless you're going to just probably memorize it, or if you're a very, very good visual person and you can envision where the point was and then what happens when you rotate it counterclockwise 90 and where it's going to end up. I guess if you wanted to figure it out, you could, but you're asking for trouble if you don't have these memorized. All right? If it were me doing the quiz, I'd probably write the rule before I do anything so that if I missed it, I get partial credit for at least trying the rule. All right? Because if you get the rule, say you get the rule right and then you just did a silly math mistake, I'm going to give you most of the points because you showed me the rules. You know the rule. All right? All right, letter B. What do we got here? 180 counterclockwise. Ella, what'd you get for that one? What's the rule for that one? Ella? A.
Negative x, y.
Is that according to Kelsey's paper?
No, she's maybe. I had negative x, negative y.
Negative x, negative y. Candy's not treating you well, Ella. Negative 9, 5 is what I got. Negative x, negative y. Negative x, negative y. This is one I don't memorize. I shouldn't say this math teacher. But watch this. Ready? Isn't this line y equals x? The line y equals x? Okay. Isn't a 180 counterclockwise rotation? I'm doing everything backwards, probably. Okay. If a point's up here, and it ends up down here, do you see what happened? Let me do it again. The line y equals x is like a 180, right? What's a 180? A line that has 180 degrees. If I started up here, okay, at xy, nope, backwards, sorry, for you guys. Counterclockwise. Wouldn't it end up down here? Negative x, negative y. See it? So that is another one you can kind of think of. Now, it's not a reflection, it's a rotation, okay? But that's where it ends up. Next one, 270. Who's got the rule for 270? Nobody.
Y negative x.
Y negative x, good. I got negative 5, negative 9 for B prime. All right, this one is tricky. We have a 270 counterclockwise rotation, then we have a reflection, then we have a translation. So what I did, I graphed ABC in black. Here's ABC. Then my first transformation, a 270-degree counterclockwise rotation, I wrote the rule up here in red, y negative x. So here's how I show my work. I have 1, 3. If my rule is to take it and turn it into y negative x, it's going to be 3 negative 1. And then I graph that point and call it A prime. Because we're going to label our points tomorrow in the quiz, aren't we? 3 negative 1, A prime. I take 4 negative 1 and I run it through the rule. I get positive 1, negative 4. Sorry, I said that wrong. Wait, hold on. B was 4 negative 1. 4 negative 1. Oh, negative 1, negative 4. Yep, negative 1, negative 4. C was 5, 4. I run it through here. I get 4, negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 5. A prime, B prime, C prime. That's the first transformation. That is the rotation 270 degrees. All right, real quick. I didn't want to teach you this when I first taught the lesson because I thought it might confuse you, but I think we're ready to kind of see it now. Can you guys, do you agree we've graphed the black pre-image and we've graphed the red one so far? Can you guys ignore the blue and the green picture for now? Can you guys do that? Okay, just focus on the black and the red. Can you guys eyeball it and say, yeah, that looks like a 270 degree counterclockwise rotation? Can you guys see that? Who can kind of visualize it? Okay, for those who can't, here's what you do. Pick a point, okay? It's from the origin. So pick a point. I'm going to do this in purple. You go from the origin. I'm going to draw a little segment, a little clock hand. I don't care whether it's a second hand, minute hand, hour hand. Pretend that's a clock hand and that the origin is the center of our clock. And it's going backwards because it's counterclockwise. Tick, tick, tick. All right? Where's A going to end up after 270 degrees? A prime, right? Okay, so draw the same clock hand, just rotated that much. Does that look like it's rotated 270 degrees? Well, 360 would be all the way around, wouldn't it? 360? 270 is 90 degrees short of the whole rotation. So does this part that's left over look like a 90? Yeah. And I could have drawn that. I didn't have to draw it to A and A prime. I could have drawn it to B, and then watch, B, B prime, C, C prime. Do you see where I'm going with this? Doesn't it can you see it now that it looks like a 270? If you draw on the little clock hands. I don't want you to, but to kind of check your work visually. So that was our first transformation. So now we take our A prime, B prime, C prime, and we go to step 2. We reflect it over the y-axis. Well, y-axis is this way. Y-axis reflection, xy, turns into negative x, positive y. So let's run it through that. Kelsey.
On the test, can we use highlighters or colored pens for when we're drawing?
Thank you for reminding me. I was gonna mention that. If you want to bring colored pencils, that's fine. I would do it light at first, until I'm confident with my answer. I would kind of sketch in lightly. But yeah, I think visually it really helps to see what's the pre-image, what's the image. Highlighter might be, if it's a narrow one or you use the very tip of it, just to get a small line, that'd be fine. But obviously if it's really wide and it's all over the place, probably not. All right, step 2. We're going to take these points and make the x's opposite, keep the same y. So ready? 3, make the x opposite, negative 3, keep the same y, negative 1. On to B prime. Keep negative 1, make it opposite, positive 1. Keep the y, negative 4. That's called B double prime. And then C double prime. We take C prime. We make the x opposite, negative 4. We keep the same y, negative 5. And then we graph those. So we call them A double prime, B double prime, C double prime. And then the last one, the last rule, we take the green points and translation. We like those because all we have to do for a translation is count left 1, up 4. So for that one, we go from the green. We count left 1 up 4 from A double prime. From B double prime, we count left 1 up 4. And from C double prime, left 1 up 4. And you could either get the points, the final coordinates for that one from just looking at the graph, or you could do the math. You could take 1 away from X and add 4 to Y from the double prime points. How are we feeling about this quiz? I would say, as far as things have gone this year, this is probably a very straightforward as far as what's he gonna put on this? What's he gonna ask me? It's not like, oh, here's a geometric proof that, man, he could involve supplementary angles, he could involve parallel lines, it could involve perpendicular. Do you see what I'm saying about that? So make sure you're not neglecting your part of it, though. Okay. Yes, this is more straightforward than what we've done in the past. But you do have to know the rules, bless you. You do have to know the rules. Okay? Any questions for me? Cool.
Do you have extra of that I can use?
Extra what?
Of the review sheet.
I do. And I can also I could post some questions that are like from the book we didn't assign for homework if you guys want to practice some of those too. All right. The rest of the time is yours to study, and I'll get the